Welcome to In Focus with Eden Lane.
Hi, I'm Eden Lane. Thanks for joining us on In Focus. Later tonight, we're going to visit Parasol Arts as they rehearse for their brand new production, Corazon de Tango. It's in collaboration with Colorado Ballet, but we begin tonight with a visit with the Broadway tour of Evita, right here at the Buell at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts. We met with two of the young stars of this national tour, Caroline Bowman, who plays Eva, and Sean McLaughlin, who plays Perone. Well, I'm so glad that we have a chance to visit with you just a little bit while you're here in town with the national tour of Evita. What is it like for you to take this kind of production on the road in these iconic roles?
It's a dream come true. I mean, in all senses of the word. I love playing the role every day, and it's I think I pinch myself on a daily basis, and also we get to see the world. So or the country. It's the best.
Are you actually making time to see
as
places?
much as I can.
Because you have to rest.
Yeah, I definitely have to. I wake up and I see how I feel that day, and being in a new city creates its own challenges. But
like having to do press.
Sure, like having to do press. I know with such incredible people like you. It's so hard. But I have a press and then new environments. You have to make sure you're taking care of yourself and getting enough sleep and
altitude,
breathing.
Yes.
That hasn't been too much of a problem.
Too bad. Thank God for oxygen sometimes.
Totally. You just take a little puff and go back on stage.
Yeah, see,
oxygen.
The audience is, well, it is Colorado. You do have to specify.
Exactly.
You have to make that clear.
We do.
What is it like for you to play Juan Perón on tour in such a large-scale production as this?
It's great. Like every day, it's the same kind of thing, and soon to dominate the world, hopefully, because this production really is such a great, realistic look at what Eva Perón and Juan Perón were. For me,
it's interesting to see such a young man play this part. How does that inform your work? Because you are younger than most who have played this.
Yeah, at first it was a little intimidating doing all the research historically and everything else like that. With this show, it is through the eyes of Eva and how she would see the world. So she would see Buenos Aires, Argentina, how they would see her and vice versa. So in that respect, I kind of took the character on as though instead of getting intimidated by this is how Juan Perón was and he looked as old of 55 as he really was when they got married. It was 55, I believe.
Yeah.
I like to think of it as though she's seeing me, like I am through her eyes of what she saw, and that made it a lot easier.
That's pretty interesting, yeah.
So during the other things though too, like we find so much on stage together because everything was there historically. We go from the research that we had, and thank God for everything online. But besides that, kick out the old, and this new Michael Grandage production really has taken quite a different take of how
it is a
was.
very different take. So, it incorporates a little bit from the movie, which some people will cheer for, but you really kind of had to update in a way, and even some of the lines are given to different characters. The orchestrations are very different. Were you really strongly familiar with this music before you took on these roles?
I actually wasn't.
That might have helped.
Right. I had seen the movie, and that was my first impression of Evita when I was younger, and so I grew up with the movie, and then I never got to see the Patti LuPone version. And I actually never got to see this version. So I kind of, which was
so you get to
amazing.
create it for
I
yourself.
could create my own version of Eva Perón based on the research. And I really wanted to pay homage to who she was in real life. She was a real person.
I think a lot of times people forget how challenging some of this music really is. you know, for some generations, Les Mis is their ultimate, you know, Broadway pop opera kind of thing. And for me, it was Evita. When I was in my bedroom as a kid, playing those cast recordings from London and Broadway over and over. So I'm obsessed with this music, just as a piece of music.
Yeah.
And you're attacking it all over the country in a very new way. So tell me, what was that like that first day where you were assembled together in that rehearsal studio and you actually sang this with everyone?
Oh gosh. Well, I think I was nervous. I was very nervous because because you know, people expect, like what you said, you know, people grew up listening to the Patti LuPone version and you know, they expect
And
to
Elaine
hear,
Page.
and Elaine Page, and you expect to hear something. You expect to hear a certain sound. You expect to hear, you know, see a certain thing, and so.
But you
we've
really can't, as
reimagined it.
artists, just
You
imitate
can't.
that.
I can't,
No,
and
yeah.
I can't do what they can do.
You mean you're not Patti LuPone?
I'm
secretly
not,
in there,
I'm
you're
not
not
secretly Patti LuPone. Sorry, America.
Didn't research that tone split from the 80s when she's singing Buenos Aires. We didn't
Right.
do that.
No. But you know, nobody can beat Patti LuPone or Elaine Page. Nobody
only
can
Pat.
beat. They're
And we
their
really
own
don't
entity.
want you to be. Really,
And-
don't you find that your audience doesn't want you to
Yes.
imitate that because it is that live exchange? So what was it like for you at first day of rehearsal when you had to be this much older, authoritative, experienced man than you really are?
Mildly intimidating. I mean, like going from usually the character male who's, you know, the handsome, sweet-voiced into this like just
Watch his
oily
face as he says
man.
that.
Exactly. Hello, this is how I act. No, I don't know. Do I? I don't know. Sometimes. But going into this oily kind of character, it could be a good or a bad man, but trying to find the right intentions in a front of a room full of a cast of principals. This cast is incredible. Every last one of us. I'm so lucky to be a part of it. Just to watch everyone get out there and just give every single % of themselves every night. And it was like that from the very first day of rehearsal. It was intimidating because just looking around the room, everyone was so just gorgeous, and everything they did, you could see.
They are gorgeous. Your cast is gorgeous. The dancing, they really go full out for it. There's a lot of theatrical visual impact going on here. That's quite a bit new. That's very new.
Yeah.
But at the curtain call on opening night, you had, in particular, you had a very emotional response, it seemed. Was that true?
I tend to. It's funny. You're not the first person to mention that to me. I tend to get very emotional at the end because I think it's just a kind of a release. It's an exhausting show.
Not on opening night, just every night?
Yeah, I tend to get a little emotional when we bow. I can't believe the impact the show has on the people, and I'm so invested in the show, and so I kind of, in some way, forget that they're there. I'm just there to tell the story, and then at the end I'm like, oh my gosh, they liked it, and also it's a nerve-wracking.
You almost had a
play.
Sally Field moment there. You realize that, don't you?
They liked it.
They really liked it.
They really liked me. No, it's a nerve-wracking part to play because, you know, it's completely split down the middle, as it was in real life. You know, millions of people loved her and millions of people hated her, and I think it's kind of a toss-up. You don't really know whether the audience is going to leave loving you or loving your performance or loving what they just saw, and so you kind of just have to be like, all right, I'm just here to tell the story, and I'm here to be true and honest and do what I can do today. And we've had fantastic responses, and it touches my heart.
It's beautiful to see all of these ingredients of this music and this story used to create a new dish for us in a way, as you're doing on this national tour. And I'm so grateful that you're here in Colorado so that we can live it all over again and see it anew. And I'm really glad you had time to talk to us today. Thank you very much.
It's so nice
Thank
to
you
meet
for
you.
having us.
Here are a few highlights from this production on Broadway.
What's new? Buenos Aires. I'm new. I wanna say I'm just a little stuck on you. You'll be on me too.
Evita is only here for a few more days, so you don't want to miss your chance to see it. You can visit denvercenter.org for more details. But right now, we're taking you to rehearsals with Parasol Arts and their new production, Corazon de Tango. Parasol Arts creative director Lorita Travaglia invited us to rehearsal before the interview. We met with Colorado Ballet artists Kevin Hale and Tracy Jones to find out about their experience with this new work. What an amazing opportunity while you're a member of Colorado Ballet to also get to do some extra work working on Corazon de Tango as ballet dancers translating tango. What does that feel like?
It's different. It took a little while to get used to it. It's a different way to like use your body. So it's completely different than what we trained.
More than just turnout.
Yeah.
It's very low into the ground. We're used to being up, especially on our point shoes all the time. So it's interesting to try and move with point shoes on, especially in the tango way.
The articulation of the foot and the ankle would be very, very different for you.
Yeah.
And then like with the partnering, like we do a lot of weight displacement. So that's a lot different than in ballet when you normally hold the girl on her leg, whereas in at least our piece, she's a lot of times off her leg. So it's a lot of like leaning back and not looking so...
Counterbalance,
a lot of
all
counterbalance,
of that. There's also a very, it seems to be somewhat different connection emotionally and projection. Just watching you rehearse, the eye contact, the body language was very different than the kinds of roles you might often get to play as artists with Colorado Ballet.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more intimate than what we would be used to.
For most ballets.
Yeah, I feel like ballet typically, especially the story ballets, you're telling a story most of the time and they're fairy tale like.
Yeah, a lot of smiles and like this is just a lot more like...
This is more intimate. You're not, I don't feel like you're necessarily performing for an audience as opposed to
each other.
Connecting with the...
That's a great way to describe it, for each other.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's quite nice actually. Like
fun.
when we did it in our Evita, it went really well, and it felt like good. Just because like you don't really worry about the audience then all of a sudden because you have such intense eye contact.
Yeah.
That it kind of feels like nobody else is around you.
That's kind of the way I think most dancers, social dancers, feel. They forget that the rest of the ballroom is around them, and you're sort of emulating that, telling a story with that vernacular. So as ballet dancers, it's often said that ballet is the foundation or a great foundation for all sorts of dance. And we know it's informing how you're approaching the tango. How is this experience with tango informing your work with Colorado Ballet as ballet dancers?
I think it's always good to do things that are completely different from what we do every day in the studio. Whether that directly relates back to what we do in the studio is a different thing, but I think it's good to get a variety, and like performing that way will help us, I'm sure, later on. Maybe not this season, but maybe next season we might do a piece.
Because Colorado Ballet doesn't do just the classics and story ballets.
Right.
You get a chance as artists to do a wide variety of dance.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's fun to step out of your comfort zone every now and then. Kind of gives you a little something to work with and have fun.
Well, I cannot wait to see this in February, and you're going to be performing with this group at the Vintage Theater in Aurora.
Yeah.
I can't wait to come. Thank you for sneaking away from rehearsal to talk to me today.
No problem. Thank you.
After the ballet rehearsal, the tango dancers took the floor. Here's our visit with the artists from Parasol Arts, led by creative director Lorita Travaglia. I'm so delighted that you invited us to come to rehearsals for El Corazon de Tango at Parasol Arts. It was really wonderful for you to include us in this work. Thank you, Lorita. How did this project begin?
About a year ago, a friend of mine, or two friends actually, came up with the idea, let's do a tango show to show the general public what tango is. Not show tango, but
Not Dancing with the Stars tango.
No, not Dancing
Real
with the Stars.
tango.
Yes, real tango about the connection and to try and bring across to the general public what it is about tango. There's an enigma about it, and once you get hooked into it, you hardly ever leave it. And so that was the initial idea.
But
And
now you've involved the artists where you have your regular job at Colorado Ballet. How did that happen?
In the summer, Gil asked me, did I want to choreograph something? And my first reaction is, nope. And he said,
Really?
And then I said, well, wait a minute, I've always wanted to choreograph a tango ballet. And so, yes, I would love to do that. My ambition to recreate a new tango show developed from creating the ballet.
Wow.
So,
And you were already involved in tango
yes.
clearly before this. Even though you had been a ballet dancer, and now
Yes.
you're also a tango dancer.
Yes.
And that's how you know all of these fine folks.
Yes. I've studied with these three.
You studied with them.
Yes.
So they are your teachers
Yes.
for ballet, for tango.
Yes.
And the gentleman behind you is your partner, yes?
In the show, yes.
So how did you come to tango? How did you find tango and tango music?
I played as a musician, basically the same story as works for most musicians in tango. In tango dancing, they come to dance after playing piazzolla. That's the first tango we usually introduce to in music.
It's a standard.
Yes,
piece of music.
it's a concert level, great written music,
Yeah.
and musicians want to play it. And I just wanted to know what makes it special. I did feel that something unique about this style, but I couldn't get it. I could see the polyphony in music, I could see voice leading, but I didn't know what is going on, why I play with violinist, but it feels like I am leading the violinist. Usually in chamber music, guitar gives just rhythmical bass support, sometimes exchange solos, but in music by Piazzolla, it was very strange feeling like I am actually the leader. And I wanted to explore this, and this is one of the reasons, that was one of the reasons that I wanted to see tango, and I wanted to take classes, and since I started, I just got
To feel it in your
Yes,
body.
Yes, to feel what is that, and it doesn't mean that I could play tangos after dancing even for a few years. I still didn't know the secret. Only later I started discovering secret, how those orchestras played it, what the secrets of music, why we don't have contemporary orchestras. I mean, we have Nick has orchestra, they played yesterday, great, it was great performance, thank you, and great singing, thank you. And I have my own group too, we play from time to time, and but we're still dancing to those old orchestras, recorded music. And of course, if we have privilege to dance to live music, it's great. But we're still dancing to, mostly we dance to recorded music.
To those original recordings.
Yes. And these people knew how to play, and they kept us to be creative in this dance, create everything, movements, the mood, everything.
That's a great tribute to their work. He alluded to the fact that you also play. You have your own orchestra. So tell me about that.
I started playing bandoneon because I wanted to be a more musical dancer. And
So for you, the dancing came first.
the dancing came much earlier, I was already traveling and teaching as a dancer, and I wanted to become a better dancer, a more articulate dancer. So I began to learn how to play bandoneon.
What is that?
It's like a concertina, big square concertina, or you can think of it like a lap accordion, maybe.
A lap.
Squeeze box.
I've never heard that. A lap accordion. I like that.
I had not heard it before I said it either. And so actually Grisha and I played together for a long time in a couple of groups, and then later on I put together a tango orchestra, and we've been playing together now for 5 years, and Liana is our lovely singer, and we're between 10 and 15 musicians depending on the night.
So for you, was it the dance or the singing that came first?
It was the dance. I am definitely not. Yes, I still don't consider myself a singer. You know, I always loved singing, but I was originally a dancer. So I danced since I was very little.
You were a ballet dancer first, too, weren't you?
I was a ballet dancer first. I'm originally from Paraguay, and I studied there, and I danced there professionally for the longest time. And in being from Paraguay, we are introduced to the music of tango often because it's Argentina right there.
My neighbor.
Right beside, right.
Cousins.
Exactly. So we do know the music, but I think I was first introduced to the part of the dance, some phase of the dance in choreography that was put for our ballet company in Asunción from choreographer who was a ballet, a tango dancer or did some tango, Ana Maria Steckelman. I remember her name very well. I liked her choreography very much, and of course I liked tango then, but it was more of inspired by tango, right? So it wasn't
just a little flavor.
Just a little flavor, yeah. Using tango music, but also other music. So. Then I went to Argentina after that, and still a ballet dancer, and got to take my first tango classes.
So your first tango classes were actually in Argentina?
In Argentina, yes, in Argentina. In Argentina. I was living in Paraguay. I got a scholarship to go to Argentina for ballet, but I thought, okay, I'm here. I'm at it. I mean, I had to learn it. I feel like tango is definitely a more organic dance that it lets me continue and still use all my background while dancing tango.
One thing that seems to be unique about tango is that we can see it as a performance. It can be this wonderful piece of sensual art, but it's also just something that anyone can do, any size, shape, age. It's for people to engage one another. Not just watch, but to do it. Is that part of the goal of this project, is to show those various levels of tango? Tell me about that.
Well, the thing in the show, and the dance that we were rehearsing, is about going through life and making connections and making friends and moving on, and always looking for our soulmate or our life partner or someone that we can really, really connect with. And it's the same when you go social dancing and you go into a milonga and you don't know anybody and you're waiting for that dance where you just feel the connection and you move together. And so I feel like tango and life are very much related. And I think that's why many people, and myself included, I love to dance tango because I feel connected with another person.
I know that lots of people feel as though they have a sort of understanding of what tango is because they've seen it on television or in a movie, but I think probably each one of you has a different relationship to tango. So I want to give you a chance to just tell me briefly what tango is.
To me, it's the way that I can completely let go of my everyday life. It's the one part of my life I don't have to be in control of, can't be in control of. It's an escape, but it's also a way that I can express everything inside of me.
For me, it's still a form of dance, meaning it's primarily a dance movement, and because I still consider myself just a dancer. But
even though you are a singer.
Right. Even though I'm a singer, now I'm singing. But it does fulfill that need for movement and for dancing. Now it's different since it changed when I came from ballet to tango. The fact that it's a social dance, the social aspect and the dance are interlacing. The entire time with that, and now with my partner, we go around and teach around the world and meet many people. Meaning, it's more of a people type of dancing now than it was before the stage, right? So, but still, for me, is the dance. It's like tango is a dance, it's a form of movement. Yes, it's a form of communication, like any art can be, but it's still the dance.
For me, tango is very exciting and it's also complicated. When I dance, it feels like I'm walking the balance between flying perfectly with my partner and having a complete disaster. And walking that line is or dancing it, hopefully, is the most exhilarating thing I can possibly think of, and it's why we choose to do it for our life in part.
Oh, that's great. Now, earlier you said that you wanted to find out what the secret to tango was.
Yes, so
What is it?
the secret is to have a conversation, to talk with the partner every step, every second. And this music, what I discovered, that music, the only music that has it. And when I dance, I like to have this conversation, and I using myself and my partner as musical instruments. To play this music, that's great music that I never get tired of. And that's what made it tango for me.
I like that image of the two of you as musical instruments. Thank you so much for inviting us to rehearsal and giving us this intimate look at you creating the Corazon de Tango that will appear at the Vintage Theater. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Corazon de Tango plays at the Vintage Theater February 8th and 9th. We leave you with one last look at rehearsal.
Remember to join us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Snugglebug.